Long before the modern world of flashing lights, roaring crowds, and electric guitars, there existed a darker and older world hidden beneath human history. It was a world ruled by blood, silence, and ancient laws that governed immortal beings known as vampires. At the very center of this shadowed history was Akasha, the first vampire, the queen of the damned, whose existence shaped the fate of every immortal who came after her. Thousands of years ago, Akasha was a powerful queen in ancient Egypt. She ruled alongside her husband, King Enlil, in a civilization obsessed with order, divinity, and eternal legacy. Akasha believed herself chosen by the gods, superior to all others, and destined to rule forever. When an attempt was made on the king's life by assassins, panic swept through the royal court. Desperate to protect their rulers, priests performed a forbidden ritual involving dark spirits and sacred magic. The ritual succeeded, but at a terrible cost. Akasha and Enlil were transformed. Their hearts stopped beating, their blood became something else entirely, and death itself could no longer claim them. They became the first vampires. Sunlight burned them. Hunger for blood consumed them. Their bodies hardened, nearly indestructible. The priests believed they had saved their rulers, but they had unleashed something far beyond their control. As centuries passed, Akasha grew colder, more ruthless, and more detached from humanity. She watched empires rise and fall, unimpressed by mortal achievements. Her belief in her own divinity deepened. When Enlil attempted to restrain her growing cruelty, Akasha silenced him permanently, leaving him in a near-lifeless state. From that moment on, she ruled alone, feared by all vampires who came to know her legend. Eventually, Akasha entered a long, unnatural sleep, her body preserved in stone, her mind dreaming yet aware. Her bloodline continued through those she had created, but none dared to wake her. Vampires learned that there. As Lestat's music thundered through concert halls and television screens, its effect reached far beyond human audiences. Ancient vampires across the world felt something stir inside them, a pull they had not experienced in centuries. Some felt rage. Others felt fear. A few felt hope. All felt the presence of something older than memory awakening from its long silence. Akasha's eyes opened in the darkness of her stone chamber. Though her body had not moved, her mind was fully awake. The modern world flooded her senses through sound and emotion carried in blood memory. Lestat's voice reached her like a summons. She recognized his spirit immediately. He was bold, defiant, and unapologetic, qualities she admired above all else. To Akasha, obedience was weakness. Power belonged to those who claimed it. Marius sensed the change instantly. For centuries, he had guarded Akasha and Enlil, living quietly, watching over their stone forms and ensuring their safety. He had dedicated his immortal existence to preventing exactly this moment. Now he felt her presence rise like a storm. He knew that if Akasha fully awakened, the consequences would be catastrophic, not only for humans but for vampires themselves. Determined to intervene, Marius sought out Lestat. He found him at the height of his fame, surrounded by admirers, music, and indulgence. Lestat greeted Marius with curiosity rather than fear. He had always known that ancient vampires existed and secretly hoped to meet them. To him, Marius represented validation, proof that he was not alone in his vision. Marius warned Lestat with urgency. He told him about Akasha, about the ancient bond linking all vampires to her existence, and about the danger of drawing her attention. Lestat listened, but his nature resisted restraint. He believed that fear had kept vampires trapped in shadows for too long. He wanted more than survival. He wanted meaning. Despite Marius's warnings, events moved faster than either of them could control. As Akasha's reign of terror intensified, the vampire world trembled under the weight of her power. Those who survived her purges felt her presence constantly, like a pressure in their blood. Ancient laws that had governed vampires for centuries collapsed overnight. Hiding no longer mattered. Obedience no longer guaranteed survival. The Queen of the Damned had returned, and she ruled through fear alone. Lestat's inner conflict grew unbearable. Akasha treated him as a prized possession rather than a partner. She dressed him in finery, displayed him like a symbol of her renewed rule, and dismissed his attempts to challenge her decisions. While he possessed immense strength, he lacked true freedom. Every time he resisted, Akasha reminded him of the blood bond that tied them together. Despite this, Lestat refused to fully surrender his will. He observed Akasha carefully, searching for weakness. He noticed that while her body was nearly indestructible, her arrogance blinded her. She believed herself untouchable. She underestimated the power of unity and the persistence of those she had wronged. Maharet and the gathered vampires prepared for confrontation. They met in secret, strengthening their minds and sharing blood to amplify their connection. Jessie Reeves, though far younger than the others, played a crucial role. Her link to the Talamasca gave her knowledge of vampire history, rituals, and weaknesses. More importantly, she represented the bridge between human and immortal worlds, a reminder of what Akasha sought to erase. Akasha announced her vision openly to Lestat. She spoke of reshaping the world, of purifying it through destruction, of ending human suffering by ending human dominance. To her, choice was chaos. Order required absolute control. She believed she was saving the world, not destroying it. Lestat challenged her directly for the first time. He accused her of confusing fear with strength and obedience with loyalty. He argued that vampires survived not Beck. In the aftermath of Akasha's fall, the vampire world entered a new era. Survivors gathered cautiously, sharing knowledge and experience, aware that the balance between power and chaos was fragile. Though free from Akasha's tyranny, the immortals carried the scars of her reign, both physical and emotional. They had witnessed the destruction one being could unleash and understood that their survival depended not only on strength but also on wisdom. Lestat, forever changed by his encounter with the Queen of the Damned, withdrew from the limelight for a time. The fame and attention he had once craved now seemed hollow compared to the weight of the centuries and the knowledge of how easily life could be extinguished. Yet he did not disappear completely. He became a link between the old world of vampires and the modern age, a reminder that even immortals must navigate morality, responsibility, and the consequences of their choices. The Talamasca, represented by Jessie Reeves, continued its mission to observe and record supernatural events, though now with a deeper understanding of the threat Akasha had posed. Jessie worked closely with Maharet and other elders, helping younger vampires comprehend the history of their kind and the dangers of unchecked ambition. Her presence ensured that knowledge survived, and that lessons of the past would not be forgotten. Marius, who had long borne the burden of protecting Akasha's prison, reflected on the fragility of immortality. He understood that vigilance alone was not enough. Power without conscience was a dangerous force, and he recognized the importance of teaching younger generations how to wield strength with caution. His role shifted from guardian to mentor, guiding vampires in a world where freedom and responsibility now coexisted. The destruction of Akasha reshaped vampire society fundamentally. There was no longer a central figure to command obedience or enforce fear. Each vampire now faced the challenge of forging their own.